DIY. I saw this interview with Big Gipp, who was a founder of the legendary Goody Mob group, and he had a lot of things to say about this modern day music industry. Specifically, he had some things to say about DJ Khaled that I thought were really interesting.
What is your disdain for DJ Khaled, and why do you say that he is nothing without T-Pain?
It's not I have a disdain for DJ Khaled. I think DJ Khaled is one of the most marketing. He is one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, as far as marketing his material and marketing his albums, yes, he's one of the greatest to do it. You know, I don't have a problem with DJ Khaled. I just have a problem when people say artists. When you say artists, like, it's kind of like, okay, so to me, DJ Khaled will be an extraordinary A&R for a big label.
For sure.
Yeah.
Out of no question. You know what I mean? But when you say artists, but you don't really produce or write the music, then you equating yourself to a Timbaland, a Dallas Austin, a James Worthy, a Jermaine Dupri.
Hey, man, you got to be hitting them boards.
You know what I mean? Like, that's tricking the audience. I'm not, you know what I mean? And that's tricking the audience in a place that I fought for, in a place that I spent the time. Like, yeah, it's all cool when you got the money and you got the backing and you got all that and you got the artists that gonna come in and rap on you. But if you take all that away, are you still in the building?
I, like Big Gipp, have a lot of questions. I've always had questions about DJ Khaled. Nobody can deny the genius of his marketing, creating a brand that is so larger than life. I just saw him on a Papa John's commercial. His ability to curate and bring together talents in a room. He gets yes to phone calls that not every executive producer or record producer can get. However, as things start to advance within the music industry, specifically the technology within the music industry, a lot of people are having to ask the question, and not just to DJ Khaled, but to everyone here, what is it exactly that you do? As the economy shifts, things that used to be luxury tier items are now dropping in price for the first time. So cuts are going to have to happen. And in the music industry, all emotions aside, all of your resume aside, that can include anyone. I've always wondered what folks like Big Gipp, the ones that are putting in the sweat equity into the creativity, I've always wondered how they feel about someone who's in the room, who doesn't put hands to actual art, but their art, if you let them tell it, is their ability to bring the forces together, make split-second decisions, mentorship, and advise the creatives in the room how to create a hit song. But Big Gipp don't like the idea of him being considered an artist. I'll let him elaborate on that.
When you say artist, the artist is supposed to be some part or something about him is supposed to show me that he an artist.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
As you're hearing an OG in the game who has seen many different eras of this industry, he's calling cap. He's calling it as it is. He's like, that is not what an artist does. And I think that a lot of titles have been stretched to ensure that people have a job. But we don't want to talk about that one today, do we?
It's a difference between being a great A&R and an artist. Like, an artist is never supposed to follow what's going on. A great A&R is always supposed to follow the wave and figure out how to continue the wave. And that's what he's done a great job of. Now, if I had $5 million or something like that to be able to go by the billboard every time 5 new rappers come out, I could do that too. You know what I mean? If everybody had that kind of thing, but guess what? I look at DJ Khaled and I say, yes, he has talent. He has talent of what he does. He's the first of his kind of what he does. But me as an artist, I have to say, man, look at what they do in our culture.
He's really bringing a lot of questions to the forefront. If you're going to label yourself as something, and with anybody who doesn't understand why hip hop has such an attachment to labels in terms of how do you label somebody's job? What is your job description? Well, that's the difference between someone getting paid, someone having longevity, someone having a career. If you don't have a title to your name, you're looked at as replaceable. Just like at any job, if you don't have a job title, at some point in time when cuts are occurring and people are getting laid off, they're going to come to you and ask a question. What is it exactly that you do?
What would you say you do here?
I'm never on the side of the building, man. Like, I'm always on the side of the artist. And how artists treat each other, it kind of like everybody can see it now. Again, I don't have no problem with DJ Khaled, man. He just did a song with Future and everything. Like, I don't have no personal problem. I'd be having a personal problem with all the games the industry play and all the puppets that they prop up and all the people that they prop up that they running the game through. See, if everybody look at DJ Khaled like he the one that's controlling this Miami scene, then I don't even know what Miami sound like no more. Because you make records for everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that if you're going to turn one thing off, you ain't got to turn the other thing off. Don't turn real music off to turn on the machine.
Speaking of the machine, you know what I always thought about whenever I saw that video, that famous DJ Ebro interview with DJ Khaled, where he's clarifying for the audience and for Ebro what's the difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Producers get the job done. If it's from getting a beat maker with you in there, sometimes I got to call a guitarist in, a keyboard player in. Sometimes I got to call a guy that plays the flute. I tell them sometimes what to play out my mouth. I wanted to go. That's producing.
As he was describing all the things that he did not do, I bring in the musicians to put their hands to keys. I bring in a flute player. You play this. He's not playing it, but he's mouthing it. I bring in this engineer. I bring in this person. It always reminded me of this clip from this classic movie called Office Space. In this scene right here, which I'm going to share with you, they're doing layoffs at this company, and they're basically going up and down the line of every single level of position and saying, is your job necessary here?
What you do at Initech is you take the specifications from the customers and you bring them down to the software engineers. Yes, that's right.
Well, then I just have to ask, why couldn't the customers just take them directly to the software people, huh?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because engineers are not good at dealing with customers. So you physically take the specs from the customer? Well, no, my secretary does that, or the fax.
So then you must physically bring them to the software people.
Well, no.
Oh, damn.
I mean, sometimes. What would you say you do here? Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to.
I'm the goddamn producer. That's what I do. I'm the goddamn producer. That's all I hear whenever I hear Khaled explain what exactly he does in these rooms. As technology continues to advance and we use AI as an assistant, as I've been using even for meal preps, things that I would usually go consult with someone who's into health and fitness, I would consult with them about their expertise in this particular topic. Now, when I'm sitting in front of ChatGPT and the new versions of that, and I'm asking it questions, it's able to dice it down from my height, my weight, and it's able to give me 7 days of meals. It's doing a great job of curating. It's doing a great job of executive producing my life and my health decisions. You get where I'm getting at?
I know that a lot of things that happens in this music game these days are created situations. And all I'm saying is that the game has become so political, so so much about marketing and money and businesses outside. Nobody even talk about the music no more. Come on.
Sheesh. There's so much conversation around the marketing, content, and so little conversation about the music. Doesn't seem like that's by accident either.
Because I know that ain't nobody really making music. Everybody's taken from a whole bunch of producers and writers that you don't know about, and they putting their name on it. And that's why you'll have a song with an artist you think you listening to, but you'll hear a whole nother voice on the track and be like, who is that? Because they bought somebody else's song and left them on there because they couldn't do their part, so they just kept them on there, and then they just put their part in. Is that a real record? Man, that ain't no real record. That's mixtape material.
That's manufactured.
Anytime that they only let one person do something, you ought to know that it's a game.
Why would it be a game? I assume it's because it's easier to control one person than to control a group of people.
Okay, if I accept what you're doing, then I also got to accept when they put AI artists out here. And now I'm fighting against the computer. Well, guess what? This was the goddamn prototype.
You just called DJ Khaled the prototype of AI. Machine, executive producing, planning, strategizing, having an ability to basically event plan within a session, having the leadership qualities to assist the creatives in the room. Who else does that? Well, I mentioned ChatGPT is one of the things that is now assisting us along our, not even just creative journeys, our journeys in general. And so he's saying that the people who have made a killing off of their name and not necessarily off of their creative contributions to the art itself. I feel like creativity is going to be more valuable than it's ever been before, because I start to see the people that it's starting to threaten the jobs of, and it's usually people who have a very automated job or a job that doesn't really require too much brain power. These are the steps. Do this, complete this, basically become a machine and you will keep your job. Well, when I start to think about the formulas that some people adapt as they're trying to create these hit songs and repeat these hit songs. They're putting these particular names together. They're sourcing the entire industry and saying, I think if I put this artist with this artist over this sample that was popular in the 90s, we have the formula for a hit. You know what else is figuring out formulas for us right now in real time? AI. Where does that leave a job like DJ Khaled's? Now, I think that he in particular will be fine. Him personally, he'll be fine. He's much too massive of a brand. However, by the time that I feel like a job like his no longer exists in the original way that it did, he'll probably be retired or moved on to something else.
Guess what? This the prototype. You ain't got to write it, ain't got to produce it. We'll take this, put this together, buy the billboard. We got a platinum album.
You ain't got to write it. You ain't got to produce it. Put it together, it's a platinum album. Human beings have been playing the roles of AI far before we had it in its current stage that it's in right now. We would basically feed into our algorithm all the artists that we've worked with, all the artists we've listened to, all the music we've listened to, all the success stories, all the failure stories, all the highlights and lowlights, and then make decisions. And a lot of record producers found their success in their ability to have a high success rate. Well, when you look at things like AI is doing better at predicting the stock market than folks who are experts in the stock market, there's a lot of folks that are questioning, why am I paying you? And AI is doing it for free for me.
I would feel better how they describe Khaled. I would feel better if they just refer to him as the executive producer.
Right.
He ain't an artist. He's not a creative like we are. You know what I mean? So we take offense because we really in here making this music.
And when you can look at Puff and say, hey, Puff really went in the studio and really did a 6 million, 8 million selling album.
Facts.
You know, like regardless if he didn't write it, he paid for it, but he got it now and he got it down. Now, I look at Dr. Dre. He got it now, he got it down.
Facts.
Eazy-E got in there, got it down. But you can't just say your Baby got in there, got down. Whether Wayne around or not, Baby still got songs with the clips. You know what I'm saying? So actively, Baby still know how to do this. Now, if I could look and I'd be like, bro, like, all you doing saying your name and
They calling you an artist.
come on, bro. But they calling you an artist. Like, no, bro. Like, if don't nobody gonna say nothing, then I say something. That ain't it. When they let that ride, then expect the worst after that. Because now they don't need the artist. They done figured out how to put the whole together without the artist, and now subcontract everybody from the writers to the demo artists. And then they'll put an AI artist in your face that ain't even breathing, talking, or walking.
My theory on that is that that's the way the music industry always wanted it. It doesn't matter what era that you're talking about. Every single thing that they had in common was that once the corporate entities saw that you were something that could make money, you turned into their cash cow and they worked you to bone. To me, what that says is that the music industry always wanted you to become a machine. They wanted you to not be a financial liability. They wanted you to be media trained. They wanted you to be the perfect little program computer for their label so that you can make as much money as possible for how long that you can make it. Now, in this odd generation that we're living in, not only do the labels have the opportunity to ride you until you have nothing left, but if you die, they can make a hologram of you. That's the time we're living in. Make a hologram of you. We'll go ahead and squeeze a few more dollars in the metaverse up out of you. So I think this is what they've always wanted. That's why when I saw AI and the emergence of AI, it made so much sense why the music industry wanted to launch an all AI artist in Mecca. That's what they always wanted. Somebody that they can program to talk how they want to talk, send the messages they want to send, promote the products that they want to promote without having any kind of inner reservations, any kind of biases about the products that they tell them to put out there, with no concerns about artistic integrity, with none of those concerns. You can only get something like that in the form of a computer. So it does make a lot of sense that this is always where they wanted it to go. Because from a business model, a business standpoint, you can make a whole lot of money off of that, especially because your AI rappers don't ever get tired. Your AI rappers are probably suited with a better executive producer in a chat GPT. Maybe they didn't know that's what they wanted, but when you work people like machines and they keep failing because they're not machines, what's better? A machine. Those are my thoughts. You let me know how you feel about it. Do you think that DJ Khaled is the prototype for AI?
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.